was just like raging a couple minutes ago. Not like raging like vocally, just like frustrated. I feel like I'm sure I've been angry before if I were to give it a couple minutes of thought. I definitely have, but I'm just not someone who gets like audibly like angry often or ever really. I'm not like a very aggressive person. I feel like I'm generally pretty passive for like better or worse. I get like I don't even get like frustrated easily. I think I'll just have days where I get really pissed off at like tiny little things like in my head. I don't even like bottle it up like in an unhealthy way. I just think I don't usually care enough to like audibly be angry because like 9 times out of 10 something that like frustrates me is gonna like pass within like 10 minutes. So I can just like I'm like just I'd rather just wait it out. Like I don't think it's worth the complaint. But I was just getting really frustrated today about how I feel so unproductive and like part of it's not no it is like not to like be self-critical to like anyone but like yeah you can always be more productive like that's just how life is like you could I mean I guess not always but like most of the time for me like I can always be more productive like I could be sitting in this bed that I'm in right now and be like oh my god well I wish I was working right now and I can't work because I don't have my job working papers or whatever and I'm trying to get those so like technically like yeah that part's not my fault like it's not my fault that I can't be working this very second like an actual job but I could still be using this time to be productive and working on I mean technically I finished all my summer courses but schoolwork I could be working on researching something that like I'm supposed to be doing emailing people back that I'm supposed to for my like school like I can always be more productive and instead I'll just sit there and be like I wish I was being productive. It's like well then fucking do it. I'm not even like I feel like I sound like I'm very self-critical. I don't think like not like in a terrible way. Like I've never really been someone to like think in my head like you're such a piece of shit. Like I never like insult myself like in my head. But I think I'm trying to hold myself more accountable and be like there's no reason not to be your best self. Like what are you getting out of being lazy and moping around in your bed thinking about I wish I could do this thing. It's like well you can't so just do one of the other things that you can do that you're putting off. Like there's no benefit of being lazy. I mean, maybe if you're like, dying and, you're very physically weak, then yeah, I'm not gonna expect myself to, go out to work if I'm like, dying of cancer or something. I have like a lot of cancer in my family. I don't know if I'm like well, that would like fuck me up. Well, I mean, obviously no one wants cancer. I don't think anyone wants cancer. But like that would mess with my life plans if I got cancer. And I don't even have life plans really. I just have a bunch of like not even like unobtainable, just like unlikely goals for me to achieve. I mean, some of them aren't that bad. Like, I want to travel the world. That's very, like, that can happen. I just need money. Like, I assume at some point in my life I'm going to be able to get a job. I think, hopefully, I hope, be able to afford travel. I think if I just, like, what's the word? Not scrounge. If I'm just, like, kind of cheap with other things, like, save up for travel. Because, I'd rather, I mean, honestly, I love clothes. Like, I love fashion. But I think I just kind of accepted that I'm not wealthy enough to like fashion. If I ever like come the owner of like a large sum of money, then like yeah, I'm gonna be buying like awesome clothes. I love clothes. But I think I've just kind of accepted not like accepted like in a bad way, like, oh, I've accepted I'm never gonna buy clothes. Like obviously I'm gonna buy clothes, but I think it's more responsible for me to, I'd rather have experiences, I'd rather have, life priorities than clothes. So I don't think that's like my highest money priority. But if I do, on the off chance come to have a lot of money, then I'm gonna have the best outfits. But once I get like some money, like I can definitely travel. That's an obtainable goal, and I just want to like create shit. I mean, that's like kind of a basic thing, but, who doesn't want to? I mean, some people don't want to create stuff. I want just my life to have a bunch of music in it, a bunch of like I don't know art. Yeah, basic, but I don't know. I think it's my priority. Don't hate on it. It's not very specific because I think there's like so many ways my life could go, and that's very overwhelming. Like I want to be 18 for many reasons, but I'm also like there's so many decisions that are gonna have to come once I move out of this home. Like I have too many goals and just like stuff I want to accomplish with my life for me to like pick where to start. And that sounds very hopeful, but I also know like a lot of the stuff I want to do is like limited by my budget. Like, you know, I'm not going to turn 18 and like, you know, travel the world and go to every single country. Like, money's not just going to pop out of the sky. But I just have to start somewhere. I've been having like so many urges lately to go back to playing video games. I don't know if this is like a yearly thing. Like, I feel like every year I like spend like, you know, a month, not even like a month, but you know, several weeks. It's like going back to my like old video game phases. And I'm trying to avoid that. Not because like I don't hate on video games. Like I like video games. Obviously, I wouldn't want to play video games if I didn't like video games. But I think, you know, back to the productivity thing. And also just like when I do play video games, I literally play the same ones I've already played like bunches of hours on. So it's not even like I'm gaining any new like knowledge or experience. Not to sound like, I don't know, like a nerd, like I have to be gaining something from every activity I do, but like I'm not getting something out of playing Skyrim for like the 10th time, like the 10th new build or whatever. Like I should at least wait till the next game comes out. Same with like shows, like I mean I can't talk because I play video games over and over again, but like you're never gonna see me watching like a show. Let's have like if I'm like watching with someone else, but I'm not gonna like watch the same show over again because like I've already seen it. Like I'm not gaining anything new. Like maybe I forgot what happens, but like you know I know in my head I've already seen all this. It's like I mean I don't know. Do whatever you want to do. Like I don't care if someone watches the same show over and over again. I just feel like I would get like I just couldn't really do that. Honestly, I can't even talk on that because I literally just started rereading a book that I read like 2 years ago. It's a fiction book. It's called Name of the Wind. It's not like super unknown. I mean, it's not as big as like Lord of the Rings, but it's you know, I think it's a relatively well known fiction book. It's kind of like Lord of the Rings, like fantasy vibe. But I did start rereading that. Although I don't have like ideally, I don't even know if I'll like reread the whole thing because it's a long book, and you know, like I said, I kind of feel stupid rereading things. But I have like forgot most of what happens. I just remember it was a good book. I'm like battling my own, what's the word? My own claims, backtracking on what I just was talking about, but you know, it was in my free time. I don't have like a physical copy because I didn't like go to the library and you know get one. I'm not gonna buy a book, but I was just like looking on. I just one night I like couldn't fall asleep and I was like, remember that really good book? And I just like googled it and there was like a free PDF online. I mean, it was like, you know, stealing money from like I mean, not really because like the author doesn't really get any money when you like check out a book from a library. So I guess you know technically it's not really like stealing money from them if you're like reading it online, right? Yeah, because they don't get any money like when you check out a book from a library. Authors must like hate I never thought about that. I mean, it's like a kind of like an obvious thing, you know. Like authors must really not like libraries, like in the sense that they're not getting any money from their book because like no one, people are just like getting it at a library for free, then no one's buying the book and they're not getting the money from it. I mean, like I guess they probably you know rather people read their book at a library than not read it at all, but you know, like they're not getting like financial profit. I like sat like the most uncomfortable position. Like I don't know why I did this. It's not much better, but like my neck is like up against the wall. But I don't want to like rearrange. I don't even have like a setup. Like it's literally my iPhone in front of me. This isn't anything. This is just me. It's just a girl in her bedroom talking to her phone. It's like I'm on FaceTime. But I don't have anyone talking back to me. Although honestly, I'm the kind of person, you probably wouldn't think this because I'm like talking for like 30 minutes. But I'm someone on FaceTime who usually just, you know, lets the other person just in conversations in general. Like not because I'm like shy or like not because I don't have stuff to say, but I just kind of like hearing, you know, like I already know my own thoughts. Like I don't need. I mean that's like you know, like I like letting people know how I feel. Obviously, like I like conversations. Duh, I'm talking, but you know, I feel like I'm just more of a listener, like when talking with other people, because I already know like my own thoughts. Like I already know my own opinions. You know, I'm kind of more interested in like what someone else has to say. I mean, you know, again, if it's like talking about something I'm passionate about, then like yeah, I'll like to talk about my opinion, my thoughts on that topic. But you know, I already know what they are. I don't know what this other person has to say. You know, what I can learn from them. I think I just like kind of noticing a lot of my not really like priorities, but just like you know what I do. It's kind of like I focus on learning a lot, like not like in a nerdy way, but it's you know like learning from other people. Like if I'm in a room, like if I'm in like a waiting. Actually, I don't even know if I'm like not to like oversell myself. I don't know if I would actually do this, but you know, Like, I feel like if I was, like, stuck in, like, a waiting room for, like, a substantial, like, amount of time, like, I didn't have, like, my phone, like, I'd rather just, like, talk with people around me than just, sit there in silence. Because, like, I don't know, might as well, if I don't have my phone, if I'm not doing anything, I'd rather, like, I just love hearing people's stories. Maybe that's why I talk. I'm not even, like, telling a story right now, I'm just, like, talking about random stuff. But, like, I don't know, I feel like people just, like, I mean, not everyone, obviously. I feel like we just need to spend more time just talking to people, like, especially like to older people. Like, I mean, obviously, people have said this before. Like, it's not unique advice, but I think there's so much we can learn from people who've already lived like 90% of their life. Like, I feel like we undermine that so much. I hate how much like I don't know if stereotypes the right word. But, people just be like, oh, like they're old. They don't know anything. It's like, if anything, like they know like a lot. They've already lived most of their life. Like, I mean, obviously, if they're having some like dementia or like mental problems because of old age, then like yeah, there might be some difficulty. But like, no, these people have already lived like a whole life. Like, they know a lot more than you do. Like, maybe they don't know about like the internet as much as you do, or like like modern technology. But like, no, they've gone through plenty of stuff. Like, they have plenty of advice to give you and stories to tell. Like, I don't know, just don't act above people older than you. Which I don't know. There's plenty of people older than me. I'm 16. There's people younger than me though too. You know, it's weird not being the youngest anymore. Like, I mean, obviously, like, I know people are younger than me. I'm not like in denial, but it's just like, oh wow, it's weird like having people like kids. Not that I'm not a kid, but, like call me old. Like, there was a boy the other day, and he was like, she's almost like 17. I'm like, yeah, damn, I am almost 17. Like, that's ancient compared to that kid. But I was just talking about how I want to be 18, so I can't say I want to be an 8-year-old when I want to be 18. I can't have both. And one's inevitable. I'm gonna be an adult anyway, so I'd rather spend my time wishing I was an adult because that's gonna happen than wishing I was a kid forever because that's not gonna happen unless I like die prematurely. But I don't want that to happen. I'm too motivated. I'm sorry, I have to move again. That was awful. My neck was like awful. Yeah, I feel like I've just been spending so much time like I don't know, just like thinking about like all the stuff I want to do. Like I was just talking about, and like just not doing anything towards it. Like, I can't work right now, but there's gotta be, like I don't have to be useless. I can be writing. I can be, working on guitar, music, the stuff that I care about. But instead, I'm just, I'll just spend my day. Like, I don't like discredit myself. Like, yeah, I play guitar at least 4 hours a day. I'm already done with all my summer courses. Like, I'm not doing awful. But, I do, there's more than 4 hours in a day. There's still those extra hours where I'm wasting time not doing anything productive. And, like, there's no reason to be lazy. I was just thinking about, like, the other day, like, I'm too young to, like, start being like, oh, I wish I was a little kid again. But, like, I was just, like, in the car the other day thinking about, like, when you're, like, little, like, young, like, you don't have any, like, long-term goals. Like, maybe you'll be like, oh, yeah, I want to do this when I grow up. But, like, when you're like a little kid, like that seems so far away. Like all your priorities are like very short term. Like, oh, I want to see my friend today. Like, I want to have this for dessert today. Like 90% of your goals I feel like are very like short term. I feel like that's kind of like the opposite of what I have right now. Is like when I wake up, I don't usually have like many. I mean, like I have my little things. Like, yeah, I play guitar for at least 4 hours. I try to, I mean, like, yeah, I have like a couple like little things. But, like, most of my like big goals that I think about a lot are stuff that's years away. Like, graduate community college and move out, get a car. Like, I don't really focus on like the little stuff as much. I mean, that's probably like, it's good to like focus on long-term stuff. If you lived every single day, like day by day. I mean, it's good to live things day by day, but if you didn't have any like long-term goals whatsoever, then you wouldn't really be, there wouldn't be anything stopping you from just, living the same day over and over. Because you wouldn't be like working towards one big goal. But it's just like definitely easier when like, your biggest priorities are just stuff that's gonna happen that day, and not like an overlooming like, oh, I have to get this done. I have to figure this out before this, this many months, this many days, this many years, like deadlines. I just feel like so, like I don't want to feel like I'm like, self-pity, but just I feel so contradictory. If that's the right word. Like I feel like I kind of preach to myself, like, be productive, do all this shit. And then, I waste so much time. Again, like not all my time, but I do waste so much time. And it's like I know in my head, like I have a bad habit of being like, oh, starting today, I'm gonna, not waste time. Starting today, I'm gonna, have more action behind my thoughts. On, like do useful stuff, like, not just do time wasty things. And then, I'll say that, like, oh, you're starting today, I'm gonna start doing this, this is the last time I'm doing this, the last time I'm wasting my time like this. And then I just don't really do it. And like sometimes I like forget necessarily, like in the back of my head, I'll be like, oh yeah, remember how I'm gonna, use my time wisely now, how I'm gonna be motivated. Like, remember that? And I'll be like, well, I just, like, it's not even depression. It's just, like, I feel so groggy. I feel so lazy. It's, like, lazy's, like, the only way I can describe it. And I hate that. Like, I hate, like, lazy. That's, like, one of my least favorite words. Like, if someone calls me lazy, like, that's, like, I'm gonna throw up. Like, that's a fear of mine. I don't want to be called lazy. But I just need, that's why, like, I wish I had, like, that's why I can't wait to have a job again. Because it's such, like, an easy, like, obtainable, you work the shift and then it's over and then you wait till the next shift. It's not something like, when you have like creative goals, it's like kind of more ongoing and less of an like objective end. Like when with jobs it's always like, timed pretty much. It's always like, work 40 hours and then you're done. When it's stuff like, music or writing, it just kind of, there's no like direct word count or like, amount of minutes you have to do. It's like, depends too much on you. It's too much responsibility. And it's like the price you pay. But that's why I just want a job to suck my life up right now. That's why I want school to start so that I can suck my life up. I mean, again, like I want to have time for my bigger goals for, music, because I fucking care about music, but just sometimes it's easier to force yourself to do things like school or jobs because they're like, expected of you. It's like, mandatory. Not obvious, not like technically, not like mandatory like you're gonna die if you don't do it, but it's like you're expected to show up to work. You're expected to, you can't really be lazy about it, like you've got to hand in your school, so obviously, you don't have, like you're not gonna die if you don't, but you're expected to hand in your school assignments. You're expected to, do your job good. When it's like goals that you set up for yourself, it's kind of more, it's easier to be lazy because you're not gonna have someone like yelling at you like, oh, you have to do that because no one else cares. That's why it's hard to be your number one. That's why it's hard to be old, not old, but like when you're an adult, you don't really have someone like in your ear telling you like, oh, you have to do this today, you have to do that. It's too much is gonna be on you. That's why I gotta pull my shit together before I turn 18, before I don't have anyone in my ear. I mean, I'm sure I still will have people in my life, but before I have all that freedom, I have to be more disciplined and learn how to make myself do stuff I don't want to do more. So that way I don't, turn 18 and just, do the bare minimum, work my job and then just, rot. Because you're not getting anything out of rotting. Like, I get nothing. Nothing, nada, from being lazy. And just, like, laying down or, like, going on my phone. I have a bad habit of just, like, Googling questions. And, I guess there's, like, it's better than, like, sleeping and, like, literally not doing anything. But, like, I'll just, like, spend hours on, like, Safari, just, like, looking up random questions that aren't even, like, not like questions like this sounds like good, but it'll be like stuff that's like not even relevant to me. Like I'll just fall down these rabbit holes of just like, or like learning about like other people's lives, which again, like it's not like the worst thing to spend your time doing, but it's like stuff that's not relevant whatsoever. It's like, I need to work on my own life, not read about, someone's life in like 2003 or some like old like Reddit forum question or something. So, is it too much to say? Starting this day, I'm gonna pull my life. Obviously, I'm not gonna pull my life together. I think that'd be very impressive if I pulled my entire life together at 16. But I'm gonna be less lazy. I say that when I'm literally about to like fall asleep. I'm not about to fall asleep, but I probably will fall asleep after this. And it's only like, this is embarrassing. It's only 9 o'clock and I want to fall asleep. That's how lame my life is. Like, I literally I'm so lonely. That's like a big chunk missing from my life is like socialization. Like maybe that's why I'm being so lazy. Is like this time when I'm not working on my goals or, you know, music or whatever, you know, I'm supposed to be hanging out with friends, but I don't have that, so I'm just, you know, replacing it with sleep. I just want to be, you know, a teenager hanging out with friends, but, you know, we're gonna be a young adult hanging out with friends and doing all that stuff that I missed out on. Boo-hoo. I can use this time to try to figure some stuff out before I turn 18 and move off. What did I do yesterday? Yeah, oh my god. Yesterday I got really too high. And I was like at a river with this guy, and I feel like I'm always at rivers. I was at a river with this guy, and it started like thunderstorming. Like we heard the thunder and it started pouring on us. And I was like, you know, gone. So I was like freaking out. Like not like freaking out, but you know, like everything's kinda like more intensified. So I like started like I was like running, like trying to get to like somewhere where we like the nearest store, so we're like out of the water, out of the rain. And then like we got like halfway, we like got up from like where the river was and like back into like the main trail, like road. And he realized he like left his wallet, and I felt so bad because he like took his wallet out, like his wallet, his like cigarettes, like all that shit out of his bag he had or whatever. So he had to like go down to the river like in the rain and get his wallet, and I felt so bad, but like I didn't want to go in the mud again. But I waited for him, you know, I was polite. But it was like so much worse because I was just like gone. I think it's probably as much as I wish. Obviously, it's not like good, but you know, if I had access to getting high every day, I probably would. I probably would. But I think that would not help with my procrastination problems. I think that would make me feel even worse about my if I'm being 100% sober, besides like once a week, and already, you know, feeling bad about being lazy. I know if I was getting high every day, that would just make me more lazy. So I think it's probably, like in some ways, yeah, it's probably better than not like smoking every day. But I do miss it sometimes. Because then if I'm always high, then I don't have time to feel guilty about being lazy because I'm just, you know, gone. But, you know, no, that's not a healthy mindset. I'm mature enough to realize that. And I'd rather realize that now before I turn 18 and have all that freedom and not as many people like watching over me, because then that's how you get led down drug addiction pathways. And, you know, that'd always be nice to avoid. I've already been to some, like, I've never been to rehab. I've been to, like, outpatient meetings about, like, drugs, but, you know, nothing insane. But it is nice just sometimes to, you know, get your mind in a different spot, not feel so guilty or, you know, serious. Because I honestly, like, I feel like I've become so much more serious because I don't see friends hardly. Like, I feel like once I have friends in my life again, you know, it's just gonna be so much more calm. Like, I won't be so high strung. I don't know if I'm, like, high strung, but, you know, like, I won't be as stressed out about my life, which that itself is kind of stressful. Like, I don't want to be more late. Like, you know, I don't want to be less on my goals and on working than I am right now. But at the same time, you know, I know that, you know, being able to see my friends again, socialize like a normal person will help me not feel stressed about those things. And I don't know when. I mean, I'm starting college in the fall, so like I'll make new friends then. But you know, being in foster care, I can't go out like a lot of my friends do, and I can't, you know, just have, you know, people pick me up and, you know, go out to parties, which sucks. But year and a half, and I will have all that freedom, for better or worse. I can make up the memories that I'm missing out now, and instead use this time to be productive. Honestly, that might be like part of the reason I record these too. Or maybe it's part of the loneliness. That'd be kind of depressing, but you know, like, it's just true. I am fairly lonely. I talk to people like online, like not like online friends, but you know, like friends I've made in person that I haven't seen in a while, so I talk to them online. But you know, obviously it's not the same. It's not as much like fulfillment. I feel like I'm like an extrovert. You know, I've done like the little like what's it called, like the Myers-Briggs test with like the 4 letters. Like I got extrovert as like, you know, the answer, like my personality type. But I think I'm like kind of like forced into like the introvert role because, you know, I can't have much socialization with, you know, my friends. It's not that I'm not like locked in a tower, but you know, being in foster care, it's like, again, like I can't really make as many plans. There's a lot more strict rules. But you know, maybe that's saving me from, I don't know. I mean, you can always like think about it like, oh, well, if I, you know, maybe I would have gotten in a drunk car accident. I don't know. There's always something bad that can happen. Maybe it's saving my life. Although I think that's so stupid. I don't know. I know I would rather be out partying right now, but here we are in bed at 9 p.m. 16 and tired. I'm probably like one of the only 16-year-olds who wants to sleep at 9 p.m. But you know, I'll try to force myself to stay up a little later than this, and because I feel like if I start going to bed at 9 p.m., like if I go to bed at 9 p.m. today, then tomorrow I'm gonna be tired at 9 p.m. You know, I'm gonna like start like a bad cycle of going to bed early. You know, so I feel like if I kind of force myself to stay up later tonight, then it will be easier to stay up later tomorrow. Not that I like, you know, have to stay up late. You know, it's always good to get a healthy amount of sleep, of course. But just 9 p.m. is like a little early. Like I don't want to train my body to be tired by 9 p.m. I don't know, like I think I'm starting to like feel unhappy with my life. That sounds more dramatic than it is. I mean, like I moved to this new foster home, and you know I'm very grateful to be here. But I think I'm reaching the point where I've been here for I think like a month. I think it's like I just reached the 1 month mark, like maybe a month and a couple days, where I'm starting to, you know, kind of realize that, you know, I'm kind of stuck in like a Groundhog's Day setup right now, where, you know, I can't tell Thursdays from Tuesdays or Saturdays, like it's all the same. So I'm trying not to like let that get to me. But, you know, soon enough, I'm gonna get a job that'll help me kind of stick more to schedule. I still have my Wednesdays, which are, you know, always fun, assuming nothing gets in the way of those. You know, my once a week sober break. And soon I'll be starting college, so that'll add more structure in my day. And then, you know, pretty soon I'll be saying, oh, I wish I had more free time to ponder my thoughts and play guitar. Although that's not even gonna be like free time. I'm not gonna stop working on music once I start school. I'm gonna make sure of that, even if it takes up sleep. Maybe I'll get like a monster addiction. I always like thought it was funny, like those people who are like, I don't know, like how, I don't want to start drinking energy drinks, but you know, if I have to, then I'd rather have more time. Like I feel like I can easily see myself like getting addicted to like Adderall or like one of those like, you know, medications that help you like stay awake. Cause like that's so me. Like I want to be up for as many hours as I can. Like I don't want to be sleeping. I want to be doing stuff. So don't give me any of those. It's like the only like structure in my life like right now is like my meals. Like, you know, I have breakfast at like around 8 a.m. Then I'll like I literally, you know, it's like kind of what my clock relies on, because there's nothing else that's like really happens every single day at the same time, besides, you know, I try to eat like relatively the same time, because, you know, playing guitar, working on music, I just do that, you know, I fit it in between the hours, like, because I know sometimes it'll be like a spontaneous, I have to go to the grocery store with the family, or, you know, whatever. So there's nothing really like no set schedule, which, you know, like some people like that. I think I like having like a little, not that I like want the family to like structure a schedule for me, like I don't want that, but I'm just saying, like I don't have anything, you know, where I don't go to school every morning, I don't have work at these hours, these days a week. It kind of just, you know, makes the week blend together. Like I was saying, like I can't tell Saturdays from Thursdays. It just makes me feel like, I don't know. I mean, yeah, no one wants to feel like they're looking the same day over and over, I'm pretty sure. Unless it's like the best day ever, I guess. But, you know, kind of emphasizes my loneliness. But I think I'm going to stop talking now. I feel like I really didn't talk about I feel like I was just like talking about nothing for like 30 minutes. But, you know, I'm kind of just like half asleep right now. Good night. No, I'm not. I'm gonna try to stay up a little later, so I don't force myself into like a early sleep schedule. But I'm gonna say good night.